gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Are you ready to pop your cork? In the left corner is 6'4", 242 pounds, with a record of 45-0, the undisputed.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Will.
Hey, how many bottles of wine have you had?
Well, Will, it's not the wine. I'm just so excited about the podcast.
Yeah, I am too. This is not a boxing match. This is We Know Texas Vino.
So. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to We Know Texas Vino. We are so happy to be here today with these two awesome ladies.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead, Will.
How long did it take you to get here?
It took me, from the last place we were at, keep in mind, I'm driving a 6-speed Camaro 2023. It took me less time than it took you.
Well, I know you passed me and Andy like we were sitting still.
I hit 104 on that one. But the great story right after that is you didn't see me hit my brakes. I hit my brakes when my app said police officer 0.1 miles away. I'm like, ah! So we're going to talk about our good new friend, Michelle, blushing. That's what I was doing as I passed that officer.
See how we
yes,
see how you
that was
did
not
that already?
Good. Yes, brother. So we're here at episode 48 of We Know Texas Vino. We have our great friend Andy here with us today as well. Hey, Andy, what's up, buddy?
Wino guy.
Wino guy.
Yeah, we got to refer to him as the wino guy.
WINEAUX.
Yes.
As in Bordeaux.
That's right. Bordeaux, wino. That sounds good to me.
Sure.
And we're going to showcase that big time for sure. But welcome. I know you are on our last podcast as well. And we actually interviewed you our first podcast of 2024, which was a lot of fun as well, right?
It was a blast.
So we're having a great time getting to know you better. And I'm glad that Will got you here safely. That is an absolute blessing.
Too.
That is an absolute blessing.
He the whole time was locked up in the seat.
So we're in episode 48, and we're just kicking off 2024 with a real bang. We're at a beautiful winery today. I'm just looking around the tasting room. It's just absolutely spectacular. And we give Kelly a lot of kudos for that here in a moment, but it's just a really nice place. And that's your recommendation, Will.
Yes.
Thanks for recommending this place.
Appreciate it. I've been here a couple of times, and every time it's been an amazing experience. And then, of course, I did the lighting of the vines for Black Friday also.
Oh, that's right. And in fact, Michelle mentioned when I got here, did you go to that? And I'm like, I really wanted to be there. So next year I'll have to do that for sure, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we're excited. Well, listen, folks, episode 48, we're going to get right into it in a minute. But let's real quick just talk about the two ladies we have here. So hi, Michelle. Hello over there, Kelly.
Hello.
Glad you're here. And we're so excited to just introduce you properly here in a minute. And I'm really grateful you guys had time to get us out here and then to spend some quality time with us. So very excited about that. Okay. So Will, real quick, where can people reach out to us and find us on the social platforms?
So they can find us on WeKnowTexasVino.wine. You can thank Jen for that one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen.
And then you can find us on Facebook now, also in our new Facebook group, We Know Texas Vino, and our page is We Know Texas Vino.
That's beautiful.
And then find us on any podcasting platforms.
That's right.
There.
And we want people to give us a 5-star rating if they appreciate or they're grateful for what we're doing here. We think we're really helping the wine community here in Texas, especially.
Yes.
5-star rating. I don't think it's too much to ask to say, hey, if you enjoyed that and laughed a little bit and want to pick the brains of some people who are out there really in the gutters, meeting these good people here, then we want you to give us a 5-star rating for sure. Okay.
Most definitely.
Let's get on with it. So We Know Texas Vino. So where are we today, Mr. Will?
We are at Kiepersol. And are we actually in Tyler?
It's a Tyler address.
Tyler,
yes, it is,
Texas.
You go to Bullard and you come back out.
It's kind of weird. I was telling Andy, I get lost every time I come to Tyler. Yeah. Every time.
Welcome.
It's so big, I just can't keep it all together.
Right. So Tyler's so big, and so it's a Tyler address, right?
Yes.
But what's the other name you said?
Bullard. Yeah, we're in a little community of Bullard.
Oh, Bullard. Okay, so Bullard, Texas. So folks out there, come join. That'll be a lot of fun, and it's a beautiful winery.
Don't go to the back gate.
No. If
Andy,
you Google it, though, it takes you to the back gate.
Did you get taken to the back gate today?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's funny.
Where they had dueling banjos and stuff going.
Oh, that's funny.
Now, out of curiosity, I just thought about this. Have y'all not thought about calling this like the city of Kiepersol with the community that you got?
Boy, that's awesome.
I mean, seriously. And then make it part of the charter, like, every person in the community gets one bottle of wine a month.
Well, maybe one of these ladies can explain
I'm
the
taking
community.
some marketing tips from
There you
Will.
go.
That's awesome.
From Will.
So your taxes pay for a bottle of wine.
Your taxes. I'm sure that'll work.
The one thing, Kelly, I just picked this up from Kelly. She did not anticipate taking advice from you today. And so here she is early in the podcast. It's like
I need the advice.
That's actually not
I truly do.
Well, let's go ahead and get after this, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we're grateful to have both of you here here, and I know you'll have a lot of fun. We do like to laugh. We like to have fun, which is cool. So we'll go after that. So real quick, Michelle, I met you a minute ago. I walked in and introduced myself, and you're like, I'm Michelle. You were just like, I'm Michelle. And I'm like, that's ironic because, Andy, I'm Michelle. And so Michael, of course. But Michelle, who are you? Why are you here? Tell us about yourself.
My name is Michelle Snyder, and I am the winemaker here at Kiepersol.
We're having some good wine right now. Can you tell us what we're all drinking here real quick?
Will has my 2023 dry rosé. It just got released. So it's the 23 vintage. You are drinking the 2020 bourbon barrel aged Cabernet. And so is Andy. I am horrible with names. So bad.
I'm not drinking that. Remember, we
switched to RTs. You are correct. Yeah, you switched to RTs. He tried. He did try.
I thought he was saying no. His name wasn't Andy.
Of the bourbon barrel line, and he chose the RTs.
Ironically, though, Michelle, I'll just point this out early in the game here, and that is that you remember the names of the wines quite easily.
I do.
Okay,
I remember wines.
So wines, just not humanoids.
No, I can remember faces very well. Like I will see Will, and I will draw a complete blank on his name.
That's awesome.
Oh, I do know you.
She goes, oh, I know that idiot.
No,
like I do know you. I'm sorry.
But not everyone is gifted with remembering names. That is a true statement. But you're doing great. Names. But at least keep your wines organized.
I do keep my wines organized.
Okay. So. Well, how did you end up here at this beautiful winery?
I grew up here in the little town of Hawkins, Texas. It's a little town north of Tyler. I went to the Hill Country about 6 or 7 years ago and got a job at one of the wineries there. And they were looking for an assistant at that time. And so they asked me if I would want to consider that. And so I was like, sure. And it was under Sergio Quadra. I don't know if y'all know that.
We know that name.
I heard the name.
Very famous. He's a really great winemaker for Fall Creek.
She knows his name.
That's right.
I do know. Nice.
Wait a minute. She knows his name, but don't know his face.
I do know his face too. I can point him out anywhere.
Well, you're one for one though. That's
I'm going to tag him on this. You know that, right?
Go ahead. He will love it. I promise.
Beautiful.
And so they Susan and Ed Aller were the owners of Fall Creek, and they sent me to winemaking certification school.
And where was that?
At Texas Tech.
Oh, Tech.
And so they sent me there, and I became his assistant, and I worked for him for 3 years.
God rest his soul.
I know, he was a great man.
He was.
And then my dad ends up passing away not long after about 3 years I was working for them. My dad passes away in 2022, and so I need to move back home to be with my mom and family here. And Kiepersol was looking for an assistant.
Boy, that's handy.
Yeah, so I just joined their team then in 2022 and have been here ever since.
Wow, okay.
Nice.
And then I worked under Alex, the previous winemaker, for 1.5 years, and he decided that he needed to move back to be closer to his family in upstate New York. And so they offered me the head winemaking position.
That is so cool. That everything fell in line. In life, I mean, even just meeting you two today, it's a fine line how we meet people, right? Well, how we met, even how we met Andy. And so how cool is it that all the dominoes fell in line for you? Yeah. No, so literally, that's a blessing.
Really did.
Yes. So, how cool. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. And then Kelly, we had a chance to talk briefly earlier as well, but it sounds like you are quite the instrumental asset here at this winery. So
this place doesn't run without her.
Well, I was saying, Michelle's nodding her head. So tell us about yourself.
I don't know that it's instrumental. It's just long term. So I think it's just.
I love your modesty.
Been around for 25
I'm telling
years.
you, this place does not run without her.
Okay. Don't be modest here.
So in other words, the doors don't even open without her here.
Right. She opens it.
I don't know how to open it.
So tell us about yourself and your role or roles.
So I am branding and marketing, founding manager of those items. And so that's all the fun stuff. That's the website, label design, all those good things, tours, talking to people, and doing a lot of wholesale work. So, but that's 25 years and we're a small business. So there's a lot of, let's also do this. Let's also plant the vines. So I did help
us pick this day.
Yes. A little bit of picking, and the first vines that we planted out front, I helped with that, and it was a little stick. I don't even know which way was up, but you've got to learn. It was a learn as you go. So I've been just blessed to be here for that long. And
yeah. Well, I noticed about you. Number one, you have a really fun sense of humor, and you remind me. My last name's Woods, but we talk about the Woods family humor. Very kind of dry, Steve Martin almost, but it's not sarcastic. But it's just very good and dry. I like that a lot. And so number one, like yours, that's right.
Like wine.
I thought you liked like mine. And so, and then number two, your energy is very good, and I can see why you're such a valued member here at this winery. So, and don't be modest. What are some of the highlights, even in the last couple of years, as you were describing this building being built here, and you were saying you have great guys who build. But how cool is it that you have built this infrastructure? You've been here 25 years, and you look like you're like 27 years old. So,
I love you. Thank you.
So, like, she started here when she was 2. Will 2 years old. She started.
I had a career before this, but anyways, so this building is amazing. We do repurpose all kinds of things. We upcycle, we recycle. We are a debt-free company.
That's smart.
And
that's awesome.
We build things as we can. So we sleep well at night, but not everything matches. This is basically how debt-free works. And this building you're in right now was actually an oil change station that we repurposed. And so we have guys that have a shop, and they build every building that we have by hand.
Wow.
And then fix it all by hand every day. So,
right. Continued building, right.
So we have our own special brand of architecture.
Yeah. Well, so I said, when you said that, and you guys can see it now, can you see the garage doors there?
Yeah,
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Bays that look over the vineyard would be where you would get your car pulled in.
That's awesome.
It's kind of like Two Brothers. They used to be a motorcycle shop.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it's amazing
Cool.
what people do to refurbish and and to build something just amazing, right? Andy?
How long have you been here? I mean, not you personally. How long has the Vineyard Winery been here?
So the Vineyard Winery is 25 years. Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
so you've been here since the beginning.
Yeah, our first vintage
She was 2.
2000.
Yeah.
Though. Yes.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Wow.
This building, we were going to open it as an event center in 2020, March of 2020, which is like possibly the worst time you could possibly think to open an event center. So when we were coming back online, we knew we needed wine and spirits together, which is the perfect marriage.
Yeah.
And we knew we were going to need this large space for the pent up need to get out of the house. And
Absolutely.
So, we just pitched the idea, and it's been fun ever since.
Cool.
It's a tasting room.
And you've been wine and spirits not the whole time. You've been in wine the whole time.
We've been spirits 2014.
Yeah,
since 2014.
But you had your Kiepersol port, I believe, before that. You must have got your
just a high proof. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so wineries can
Could I've tasted that
to make their own port. Yes,
15 years ago, 20 years ago, something like that.
Perfect. Yeah, Andy has a little bit of history with tasting wine. Would you say you have 3,000 wines in your life?
Minimum.
Yeah, 3,000. So he's done okay.
I mean, he knows just a little bit about wine, not very much at all, just a little bit.
Well, if he's picked up a little from each sip he's had, then yes, I suspect he knows a little bit.
He drinks it and he goes, "Oh, you know what? This actually grape came from Italy, not from Texas."
That's right.
Well, I can assure you that one came from Texas. It came from right down there.
Right there. Well, we're going to talk about the estate and everything you've done here, and certainly we know Texas Vino, but I want to have a little fun, maybe just kind of kick things off, and either one of you can comment on this. But I was reading your website, which is kind of fun, and I love the name and where it came from. So there's some South African lineage here, right? Ties. And so I'm going to read this real quick, and I'm going to paraphrase, and you guys can have some fun with it. So the soldiers running from the lions decided to climb a tree, and this is paraphrased, okay? And actually, they were yelling, "We hope this tree will keep us all." And someone heard them saying, Kiepersol, right? And so tree symbolizes strength and integrity and home. I love that very much. Can you guys comment on the name of this winery? I thought it was so much fun when I read that.
I would know more. I've only been here a couple of years.
Okay. Well, Kelly, you've been here.
But it does feel like home. Like they make you feel like home.
Okay, so it works. Branding works, y'all.
Yes.
Branding works. How about integrity? I'm joking. Okay, great. Well, you got the home right.
Right.
How about integrity and strength?
So I think the name itself, a lot of people think it's a family name, and it really is a place name out of South Africa. Our founder, Pierre, immigrated from South Africa in the 80s, and the little town where he came from near the Kruger National Park in the eastern part of South Africa was named Kiepersol. And right now it's like a 4-way stop with not a lot going on, but it was his origin. And so when you come to a new country, sometimes you name something New London or New England. And so he just named this place Kiepersol. And it's kind of comical because people would come to the restaurant, and when it's overbooked, they're like, "No, but I know Mr. Kiepersol." And we're like, Well, that is not his name, so I don't think you're like best friends.
Do
but,
you really know him?
I love that.
Oh, that's so classic.
So it's just an honoring of where you come from.
Right, sure. Yeah, the Italians did that a lot when they immigrated to the States here. No reason for the South Africans not to do the same thing, right? So that's where the name came from. And you guys still have some. I'm looking around. Do you have anything that talks about that at all, or the history, or is it just on your website? The book.
Pierre wrote a book.
Pierre wrote a book about that, his adventures, huh? Yes. That's pretty fantastic. That's exciting. Well, the name really caught my attention. I wrote that down giggling last night as I was taking notes. I thought, what a fun way to start this podcast for sure. But well, let's go ahead and get into this real quick. And so, you guys should be proud of what you accomplished here. So right now we're in the middle of winter. It's January. We were talking, I think, Kelly, you said maybe it's going to snow on Monday.
Yeah, there's a very good chance.
I think so.
Is that right?
No,
okay.
I told you this is Texas. So actually, we're going to have tornadoes on Monday.
Right. It's so
There's
unpredictable.
actually a chance of tornadoes today, actually.
Oh, good.
Are you serious?
Serious.
We'll hear the Kiepersol alarms here in a minute. Yeah, so that'll be fun. Well,
wow, look at the time.
Yeah. Well,
at least we got wine to be safe.
Wine, and they probably have a cellar somewhere. I'm sure we'll be safe.
You won't starve.
It probably won't starve. No, especially all the food we just ate too. So, Michelle, we'll start with you here real quick. And so the vineyard, it's wintertime, but certainly things are probably going to start hopping for you guys almost immediately. I mean, the new year's here, but I mean, I understand the wine industry a bit. So tell us about your daily routines and what you're anticipating the next month or two or three as you get ready for 2024.
Well, right now the guys are in the middle of pruning, and so they are cutting all the vines back. I myself am in my cellar working on getting my 2023 whites and rosés into bottles and getting those out to y'all. I'm also pulled up some reds from a couple previous years, and then also getting my reds from the 2023 into barrels. So I'm very busy down there.
Yeah, you are.
So that's what's going on with me for the next 4 months probably.
Well, for our listeners though, so you said down there. Are you down in another building over here?
Down in the very corner. I'm like the redheaded stepchild. Down
you're right.
Down there.
They throw you down
We
there.
do visit her occasionally.
They do come to visit me though. I do.
They have radios like, "Hey, are you down there live?"
Like a light switch on that I'm okay down there.
Bring
So
her a tray
are
of
you
food.
doing that by yourself, or you got
right now? Yes, I have a hand that helps me 3 days a week. But right now it's just me.
Wow, a lot of work.
But if it's time, like if I need them barrels and stuff, we get some people in there to help with it. We're very much there.
Looks like you have volunteers here.
I think I'm having some. I think I'm seeing volunteers here.
My back's a little snobby. It's funny. Well, that is hard work, and we've done 50 podcasts now. Almost 50 is the number 48, and certainly it's not easy work. And so you are now an official winemaker, and so and I want to go back to the question as well. But you have a lot of work here, and there's no doubt as a winemaker, it's a daily effort, it's a daily commitment. And so going back to the question, you have the next couple of months of you're anticipating your work habits. What's it going to look like for you? Because you're already busy. Is it going to double time? Are you working 14-hour days?
No, I'm not working 14-hour days.
Okay.
140 hours.
14-hour days?
It's usually just I get here around 8, in between 8 and 9, and then I'm out of here by 5.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
But just hard work and steady.
It's just hard work, steady work, on my feet all the time. But hey, I love it. So
Absolutely, yeah.
And I want to point out that this place is 100% Texas juice. As a matter of fact, it's 100% estate-grown juice.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Very important.
How proud are you guys of that? That is really cool.
That is really cool.
I mean,
It's hard. It is very hard. It's very challenging. So we are very proud. Yeah.
Yeah, there's only a few wineries in Texas that can claim that.
Yes, and we are one of the largest in Texas. That can claim that, so.
And Will, of the 48 we've done, how many have been full estate? I think is this our third? Maybe?
Hidden Hanger's one of them.
Yeah, I think our third.
And I'm thinking Arcade. No, I don't think Arcade. I know Hidden Hanger is.
Yeah. So it's pretty unique. And I think you should be very proud of that.
Slate Theory.
Slate Theory was?
Yeah,
okay.
Slate Theory.
Yeah, they have a lot. And so how many acres have you guys planted here?
63.
63 acres. Yeah, this is not small time anymore.
Wow.
Michelle, you're in big trouble. This is not, you put your feet in. This could be.
I know.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for it.
Well, that's so cool. That's amazing.
Because this will actually be my third harvest coming up. I was 22, hit and 23. Like I came right before the 22 harvest, and then I was the 23 harvest last year, and then this will be my third harvest.
Third full harvest. Yeah, very good. Yeah, and you're having fun, aren't you?
I'm loving it.
So, just a follow-up question, so to speak.
Okay.
You have 100% juice. How many varietals do you have? Do you know?
We have 11.
11?
No, 10.
10 varietals total.
10 varietals.
So I'm drinking, guys. You can't see my glass, but I'm drinking a wine that is 60% Zinfandel, 40% field blend. So that would make it potentially 10 other different grapes.
Potentially, yes.
Do y'all would there be any white in here?
No.
So it would be only the red grapes
It'd be
that
the
you
red
carry?
grapes, yes.
Okay.
Wow.
That's
And
cool.
actually, Zinfandel is one that we do not have anymore. So
Ooh.
So this is the last of this, really?
So if you like it, you better buy a bottle
I
of it.
do like it. As a matter of fact. Yeah, I love Zen. That's my favorite.
Oh, that's cool. Now we're learning about Andy a little bit. Did not know that. That's
You
cool.
did not know
no,
that.
I didn't. I did not know that. That is weird, wild stuff. So, Michelle, thank you for that. That's awesome. So I'm excited for you, and I know we'll come back and visit you, and I'm sure you'll be working hard. And your wines are spectacular. I mean, you recommended this one for me, and I'm like, yes, she scored. That is
I
perfect.
can't keep that one in my house.
Is that right?
My brother has it on his radar that I have bring a
Radar,
bottle in and
yeah.
he comes and
Senses
takes
it.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, Kelly, how about your next couple months? I mean, are you going to be pretty busy as well? Is this kind of the busy time? Because we've kind of learned that, is it like October generally is kind of the time you can take a deep breath, or is there a time you get to take a deep breath?
I don't know about the rest of the Texas wine industry, but April and October are crazy busy. I guess it's just the temperature. Every festival is happening. Every event that they want speakers for, that's what's happening April and October. This is a little bit of a cozy time that I'm loving, that you can plan out what you want your year to look like, as opposed to having your year happen to you.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of where we're at.
So you're taking a little deep breath right now, would you say?
Breath.
Okay.
Yeah, we're focusing on basically getting large groups here.
Okay.
That would be business meetings. You can have your whole, group setting here, and you have the restaurant, you have tours behind the scenes. You can hang out here. It's a good get out of your head if you're in a business mode and you're planning for your 2024 and you've got a team. Just bring them here.
And the
Yeah, that makes sense.
The classes also. Like
Yeah.
The food and wine pairing classes.
Oh,
that
fun.
we
Yeah.
offer.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I wrote down a bunch of stuff you guys do for sure. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But real quick, Kelly, so what does your daily routine look like then? Because it sounds like,
I would love to have a daily routine.
Can I call you like an
Amazing.
operations manager? What is your title here? The Queen of England?
No. Branding and marketing director.
Okay, director. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I see Andy's on the website right now, and I'm like, there's things I want to make amazing there. Beautification, label design. We're developing some new labels that might come out in the future.
Really?
And
That's exciting.
Some spirits things happening too
Okay.
in the label area. So
Is that your background overall, is marketing and
are
advertising?
you going to laugh if I tell you my background before the 25 years?
No, because you'd be surprised what my background is too.
Well,
So, no,
I'm
we're not gonna laugh.
interested.
I'm not going to laugh.
I'm
No.
laughing.
She's laughing.
I have a master's in archaeology and
Indiana.
no design experience, but my mom is an artist. I think it's in the blood, and just kind of learn as you go.
Okay,
and
I
just
did
have
not
the
see
eye.
that one coming at all.
I know,
Yeah.
but what's cool is I went to school to be an archaeologist, and so I know how cool is that? It was
Hello.
cultural
Awesome.
anthropology, man. It was
Yes.
amazing. So it's
I
totally dig it.
really didn't truly see that one
Didn't
coming.
see it coming.
I mean, I was thinking
It's it's the outdoors that still has me in the vineyard
At
and
midnight,
archaeology
I was
together.
saying, at midnight,
but
she's behind trees digging things, and
look.
excavating.
you can't believe what we found here.
Yeah, I bet.
I got a
Pretty
woolly
cool.
mammoth back
I
in my
was just about to
backyard.
ask, have you found anything cool?
We
Have
we
not?
not found anything.
Okay, no
Nothing
arrowheads.
per
cool.
se
nothing?
cool. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's
Nothing
good.
cool.
Except that woolly mammoth she found, she didn't tell anybody yet.
Yeah.
We don't know about that.
That would be cool. Yeah, that comes out next year, Will. You're getting ahead of the game here. Cool.
So
Well, in 25 years that you've been here, what are some of the ginormous changes you've seen, or some of the great trends that are starting to happen?
I think we were officially direct to consumer for many years, for 12 years. And then because we were in a dry county, just, when I came here, I was like, was that just in the movie Footloose, or are there actual dry counties in Texas? And there are. And then in 2012, we just switched entirely to a distribution model where there's, we don't want to be in competition with our friends that own grocery stores. So,
Right.
so we went into a different world. And so that's kind of been our biggest shift. Our biggest shift emotionally is losing our founder, and I spoke about him before, but his daughters, Marnell and Velmay, are our owners and our best friends. So we went to a very estrogen run business overnight.
Estrogen run. I love
And,
that.
great.
I think he would be proud. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, and
Some
are you
huge
sensing that as well,
shifts.
Michelle? It's just total,
Like they've become three of my best friends.
like
Yeah.
sisters,
Like,
literally
yeah.
sisterhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And where do the girls live? The daughters, do they live here in
On
the area?
property.
Yeah,
On
we
property.
all three of us live on the property.
Oh, okay.
So we triangulate and
So in
They
other
do.
words,
I still live in Hawkins. But
so in
they
other
still
words,
live
the
here.
property
Okay.
tax you would charge yourself living here, you get
They
your
would
own.
have to charge yourself for the same property tax.
Wow,
See how I
that's
didn't want to
great.
do that?
And if I really wanted to get into some bad jokes, I could talk about all these women and you know all the things.
I know.
But I think
Dude,
it's
we're
awesome.
open. We're
I think
open.
it's
You know,
awesome.
it's-
I think it's really cool. Yeah, female-run company, and they're doing a great job here. Well, and you're the one that recommended we come over here, so
Yes.
I know you're impressed with it. I'm already impressed with not only the location but the staff.
I have been impressed every time I've been here. In fact, actually, the first time I walked in here was Father's Day, and I do not remember who the lady was at the podium. I just said my name. I didn't tell who I was with or anything like that. And I walked in and she goes, I recognize your voice. And I'm like, no, you don't. And she goes, yes, I do. And I'm like, mm-mm. And then she
that was my tour.
Yes, that was your tour.
That was
Yes.
my tour. Yes.
Yes, that was the day when Pierre's cousin was actually
Pierre's
on that.
cousin was on the tour, and Will was on the tour, and I'm like,
Yep.
I just started doing tours I think that was like my fourth.
We did throw
tour
her in
or
the deep
something.
end.
Yeah, and I didn't even tell you who I was with
And
either.
we know how good you are with names, so
And
we
I'm
can
horrible
start
with names,
add
and
all
the
this
tour's
together.
already
Yes.
like 20 people, and
Yeah.
I have him on here,
Ugh.
and Pierre's cousin's
I'm
on
so
there.
sorry.
Yep.
I'm like,
And I didn't even tell her who I was at all, so I didn't add the pressure to it.
they didn't. You didn't, but they already told.
My mom. Oh yeah, that's right. They did tell you.
They did tell
Yeah.
me, They didn't tell me Pierre's cousin was on the tour. Then she told me while we were on the tour.
Yeah, while we're sitting there in the tasting room tasting, that's when she said, "Oh yeah, I'm Pierre's cousin." I'm like, "Oh,
like, oh,
wow."
Well, then you probably know these stories better than I do. You want to come talk to me?
That's awesome.
But yeah, this place has been amazing. Every time I've come in here, I've not had a bad experience. I mean, even though I try to sneak in here, I can't sneak in here. They won't let me sneak in here.
Might be the shirt.
Might be the shirt.
Well,
Embroidery of the day.
I mean, I've been in here 4 different times, and 2 of them didn't have the shirt on.
Okay.
And the second time I came in here, y'all wouldn't let me sneak in. Like literally, I tried to come in here without, and I got recognized, and I just can't come in here without being known. But that's good to be known when you walk in there. And I'm not saying because of what I do. It's just it's great to walk in and people recognize who you are right off the bat.
Right.
You're the norm of this establishment.
I think it's the bald head and
Cheers.
beard.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Well, let's talk wines real quick. I know Andy's probably excited about this, but so you guys should be super excited about the wines. I'm looking at a showcase over there, and it's just filled with wonderful, wonderful wines. Well done, by the way, Kelly. I know you design all that. What are some of the wines right now that are just absolute movers and shakers? And then,
Definitely the Flight.
Okay.
That flies off the shelf. It's a sweet rosé. It's made with our black Spanish grape. We can't really keep it in the building.
Wow.
What did I say? Watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, it's like watermelon
Delight.
Jolly Rancher Delight.
Yeah.
It is so good.
That sounds like a bad shot.
Well, no, it sounds amazing. It sounds, my mouth's watering a little bit, Andy, thinking about that.
We'll have to try that.
We will have to y'all can try that.
Yeah, absolutely. Some additional ones as well?
What do you think, Kelly? I know.
I mean, you're the Edelvit.
I love the Edelvit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our most Chardonnay-like wine. We don't grow Chardonnay here, but that is our most Chardonnay-like wine. It's got that nice smoothness that the Chardonnay you expect from a Chardonnay, but it just.
What would you say? Would you say it's if you were to compare it to Chardonnay, would it be more full-bodied
It's going to be
Chardonnay
it's going to be
cold climate Chardonnay?
It's going to be a more of a full-bodied a Chardonnay. It's going to be like the hot climate Chardonnays. Where
California versus Burgundy.
Yes.
Okay.
But doesn't do the overwhelmed butter.
Yeah, I didn't do the overwhelming buttery on it.
That's good.
So I pulled back on that a little bit, but it just got that smoothness on the end of it.
So you're talking about the malolactic fermentation is on the light side.
Yes, and then I also used a cherry wood on it instead of with oak.
Oh,
as another oak on it. So I used a little bit of cherry wood on it. So.
Fantastic.
What else
Kinda
is that
soften it
cherry
down.
wood on? What is the
Rosé
one I
Reserve.
love? Yes.
The Rosé Reserve. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is also
cherry.
another red rosé. It's a rosé that we sent through.
Why are you blushing?
how much wine have you drank?
I've had none today.
Zero.
She's an expert.
So the Rosé Reserve is one that is also made in the Chardonnay style. So we did the secondary fermentation on it, that malolactic fermentation, to give it that smoothness, to take it out of that crispness that you get with the rosé. So it's just smoothed off, and we also did some cherry wood on it too. So
Interesting.
Cool.
y'all have to try that one too.
If you force us to, we will try that.
I will force your hand.
Well, let's stick on that subject for a moment.
Absolutely.
I'm noticing on your website you're talking about your port, specifically your vintage port.
Yes.
So now that you're a distillery, I presume you make your own spirit for your own port
We do.
versus having to
We make
bring it
brandy
in
for it, yes.
Fantastic. Good. And your current vintage was the 2013?
The 10-year port is the 2013. Is it 2013? Yes.
All right. Cool.
Amazing. Yeah. So you're proud of that. And Kelly, I mean, you're over there kind of being the...
No, I was just excited because for the first time, we've been using our own brandy, and for the first time we bottled it and released it right before Thanksgiving. So we have our own grapes and our own brandy, tasting room only.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Y'all released a whole bunch of, right before that, right before the Lighting the Vines,
Right.
y'all had released a whole bunch of bottles.
Mhm.
And I was excited, way too excited because we shared several of those bottles that night.
Did you try the moonshine too?
No, because you didn't tell me about
Something
it.
else to add to the list.
Yeah, we have moonshine now. It's
Andy, you kind of
corn
feel like
whiskey.
we got left out of that
I
party?
do.
I mean, I don't think we were invited to that party. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, y'all just have to come back.
That
for
sounds good. We're
Lighting
here
of the
now.
Vines.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about the Lighting of the Vines, so that was probably the most amazing experience I've ever had at a winery.
Oh, thank you.
Like literally sitting there and hearing about the blessing of the vines, you know, for the last year and for the next year, and then turning the lights on. Okay, you talked about having, 800 people out here, there was a lot of people out here.
Yeah, it was a
actually,
large day.
It was
For
a
us.
large day.
and it was like shoulder to shoulder at one
and I did
point.
nothing but open bottles.
I bet.
all night
That's
long.
why I helped you that day. I was opening my own bottles.
You got this. Here, you take it.
But I mean, but everybody that I listened to, because I listened to everybody around, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, this was an amazing experience. This was an amazing experience. And that right there, you should be like 100% proud of when you hear people say that, because now they're going to tell 50,000 other people, and then
we're going to enlist you for your help of opening bottles next year.
We can all show up in
I am looking for
bottles.
a part-time job.
For one night only, I will do it.
So one of my last questions I always ask is, what sets you apart? Is that one of the things, the Lighting of the Vines, is pretty cool? It's pretty special for this community.
pretty
So,
special, yeah.
yeah, we try to do events that are meaningful. We have a lot of just foo-foo fun, we want to
I wouldn't
paint
call it
with
foo-foo.
wine and all those things. But I think the Lighting of the Vines is very soulful.
Yeah.
And those are our events that are most successful or connect with people the most.
And also, our Flying Club members also, we do special events with them too. Like we do club socials, and after harvest or like right at the end of harvest, we're actually going to do a grape stomp with them. So we're going to put
that'd
some
be
grapes
fun.
aside and let them stomp some grapes. So
We're not going to make that out of wine, are you?
We never know.
Good
I mean,
wine.
it's got alcohol in it.
Gotta try
Kill
it.
whatever's on there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
You've
drink
never seen Will's feet.
if you, I mean,
Oh my God.
if you ever get an Edge of the Lake Rosé Grenache, you might find some of my blood in that one. Just kidding. Sorry.
Funky is a technical term, and it's all good.
It's all good.
Fermentation kills a lot of things.
Always alcohol kills.
That's
Alcohol
right.
kills everything.
So more about the wine. I mean, so you guys are doing great. How many wines do you have on your menu right now?
33.
33?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you always answer the question with a question? 33?
Because it's a lot.
It's
to
a lot,
take
isn't
in.
it? But 33 is
It
significant.
is a lot to remember. Also.
Absolutely
like,
it
he was
is.
asking me what was in this. I'm like, let me ask Kevin because he talks about these every day. I don't talk about these every day. so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our staff, and we have full-time wine stewards that really are in it
They're
and can
amazing.
guide you through the process. Because we can do the tours and tell you the stories behind the scenes, but
Mhm.
they are like,
I can tell you how
okay,
to make it, but
what kind of coffee do you drink? This is what we want.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
So the stewards here
find
are
that perfect
amazing,
thing
so.
for you.
And that's probably one of the best experience also coming here, because came here for Father's Day. My mom, my stepdad, we came up to the table and literally they were asking them questions about, hey, what do you like to drink and all that, and they helped pair that out, and it's just a great experience.
Well, that's really cool. Well, you have a distillery as well.
We do have a distillery.
So, Michelle, do you also work at the distillery?
No.
Okay, so you are exclusive to the wine here. Okay.
No, I do like do the tours. I'll lead the
You do?
tours around.
Okay.
So I can talk about the distillery a
Sure.
little bit.
Well, I hope so.
And I know the gist of how it runs, but other than that, no, I rely heavily on Dylan on questions.
Okay, well, I just remember Will saying not only is it a winery, but it's also a distillery. I thought, well, that's clever. That's really, really wise. And you've already used a couple examples. I think you have some of the brandy in your drink here today, Andy. So tell us real quick. I mean, I know maybe no.
The port. No, it's
Oh,
It's
the
in the
port. That's right.
port.
We're talking about the
Yeah,
port.
with
That's
the
right. My
port.
bad. Sorry about that. Yeah. And so tell us about the distillery and how that's going. And where's that located?
It's right behind us.
Is it right down the
Yeah,
road?
literally,
Okay.
we drove-
Actually where the winery began.
Okay.
When it first began, the winery first began right down the hill right here, and then we outgrew it,
Mhm.
and so they moved us down further and put the distillery there.
And whose brainchild was that? I mean, it's like, hey, we got a winery. Let's do a
So,
distillery.
In that same time when we were moving from being a dry county to a wet county, we had maybe excess grapes that we didn't think were going to be the high enough quality to go in our standard estate label, our flagship that's going to be on the shelves without you tasting it right in front of us. And so we wanted the best of the best grapes in there. And there's a few little things that happen over the course of the weather and the season. Each year is different. And so we had excess grapes. And so this was before Pierre passed, and he woke up one day and he said, I've got it. I read the internet.
And
we're like, oh, I was taking a nap. What did you find on the internet? And he says, well, I found this vodka out of France called Syrah. And it was the first vodka made out of grapes.
Oh.
And so the birth of our distillery was to make a vodka out of excess grapes and still get that into distribution. And of course, once guys get a hold of a still, they're not going to just make vodka.
Right. Okay.
And
yes.
so the first product was vodka. We named it Dirk's after his father. It was kind of like a honor your mother, father in the Bible. You know, this was a platform we've been given to honor them. And so we named that Dirk's, and then we had a rum and a bourbon by the end of the year. You know, that we were working towards, you know, it doesn't have to age on the vodka, but the other stuff was in the barrels ready to age.
And their vodka is amazing.
Well, I'm sure it is. Yeah. I mean, wine, amazing. That's awesome. So is it an equal like partnership, like the distillery and the winery are kind of coexisting together, or is one maybe more significant? How's this all working? This is a lot of your business model.
I think the distillery is still in the micro distillery stage.
It's still micro distillery.
Yeah, compared to the winery, and we're more well known for the winery, obviously. But
the product is distributed.
The product is distributed as far as 3 of the spirits across the state. So, you know. The stores
vodka,
across the state.
Vodka,
bourbon, and rum. And then we make an agave spirit that is amazing. Margaritas.
Really amazing.
And palomas. And
well, let's see, what time do we need to get
home? You know, it's funny.
So that's not distributed, but you can get that here at the state. Yeah.
It's fun when you get to know people and you can tell how they express things. How their dialect. You can tell she's had 1 or 2 of those margaritas.
I might have.
Okay, yeah.
She's sitting there making wine. She's like, I'm drinking a margarita.
Margarita.
The heck with the wine. I'm making margaritas.
Awesome.
We do not discriminate.
We do not at all. No.
Well, that's pretty exciting. So a multidimensional business model for sure. Yeah. I like it. So I wrote down a couple other things here. Maybe you both can just comment on it. Okay. Restaurant. I just wrote down some words. Restaurant. Tell me about the restaurant.
It is I've been there once.
Wow.
At least she's honest.
That's more than I've been there.
Yeah, we opened the restaurant even before the winery tasting room.
Yes.
Because, we were planting the vines. It took 2 years for that really to come online. And so we opened this steakhouse in the middle of nowhere, and people thought we were crazy. And now Tyler is moving this way, and people are coming from Dallas, Houston, Shreveport, and it is rivals steakhouses in Dallas and Houston, in my opinion.
Wow.
But
you're getting some good feedback and some great reviews.
Yes. So filet, New York, lamb chops.
I was told the crab cakes.
Crab cakes, duck cigars.
Yeah.
And
you had to bring in some chefs for that, some cooks and some people who really know what they're doing. Are they full-timers?
Our chef has been there since day one. He started as a line cook, and he is now our main chef.
That's
Chef
beautiful.
Robbie.
Wow.
Shout out to him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, we grow our people as much as we can.
I want to back up this duck cigar.
Duck cigar. So this is a fantastic concoction of.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you've only been there once, but you've eaten everything there?
Yeah, they bring stuff over.
Yeah, there are samples.
We sample it, and then we also go do a meeting with them sometimes, and so I'll introduce new wine to them. So I'll get to sneak in there and see what they're having.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell about the duck cigars,
duck cigars. So I would say very soft braised duck that is shredded and then rolled in a wonton wrapper and deep fried. May not be the it's
healthiest.
Not a diet restaurant. It is it's a lifestyle.
Can we finish this up down there right quick?
I know.
Well,
food, order some of those.
Food is good when you're like, I'm off my diet today, and there's probably at least 1,000 calories in that meal. I'm going for it. Right?
We have a lifestyles menu, but it's also balanced out.
Sure,
things should be. But I think this is with the Syrah. It's my favorite. Duck cigar is my favorite.
Yeah, really Syrah.
Earthy.
That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Right.
Bed and breakfast. Tell us about it.
15 rooms.
15.
Wow.
crazy.
Keep going. Tell us about it.
So 5 of them are on the restaurant. You can roll from the bar to your room.
I like that.
And then the other 10 are dotted across the estate. And so you can see some of them from the winery.
Yeah.
You can walk
The stable house is right behind the winery.
Where Michelle is. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're just right on the vineyard.
And those are reserved. They do it online on your website.
Yeah,
just reserve it right there and get it. Yeah. And are those pretty popular year round, or is there a time where you just can't even find one because it's so popular? Probably fall.
Yeah, the
spring.
warmer it gets,
the better.
Summer, fall, it's pretty booked out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, very nice. And then I have here RV park. So you bring in RVs. How many spots do you have for that as well?
it's 97.
97.
And
Wow.
97 spots.
Well,
and
that's
so
amazing.
we kind of built our own environment. This
You
is
sure did.
it's about 3 to 5 miles from us. And but if you're staying there, you get,
You have a shuttle. You have a shuttle bus that
we
brings
don't
them
have
over.
a shuttle.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of our wines. offered there
They
in the
sell the
store.
wine. They have a winery permit there. And
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, you can just get your wine there and then
Okay.
come over here for the experience.
All right. And
Nice.
one of my favorite ones I wrote down here, the Clydesdales. Oh, no. Is this a sad part of the story?
Well, they're not here anymore.
They're
They
not
did
here
pass.
because Michelle had just mentioned the stable house,
Yes.
which is one of our B&B appointed areas where it's got 5 rooms in there, and that's where Clydesdales used to live. Like in the beginning, 2000, we had 4 Clydesdales from the Budweiser herd. They cull them on their markings and then they sell them. And so we got some of those and we had little carriage ride around the vineyard. We're probably before our time on that. And then they're like big dogs. They don't last as long as you want them to. And so by that time that they passed, we needed more rooms on the estate.
Okay.
And so
Oh.
we just shifted. It's very elegant. It's not like you're staying in a
gorgeous
stable.
there. You wouldn't even know that it's
But-
Staying in a stable.
But it has the rustic
You bring out hay, too,
bars.
Yeah,
every
still got hay from like 8 years
Right.
ago.
Yeah. You have to feed
Your mattress
own
and stuff
horses
in there.
there.
Yeah, right.
There's not a mattress. It's just a pile of hay.
If it's good enough for Jesus, good enough for
That's
us.
what I'm saying. We
look
should
at
have
there.
a special,
Manger style.
manger. We should.
That's
I
pretty
know.
fun, actually.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I do have to say that though, and no one asked me this, but that did bring up, we are a Christian company and that is very across the board. And it's kind of crazy and different that we're very openly Christian and we have a lot of alcohol on this estate. So this is just what we believe is the platform we were given to talk to people and enjoy the people in our lives.
I'm just going to say this. I mean, at least you're not a Baptist because, they don't believe in alcohol.
This is not true.
It's not true.
This is not true.
You haven't met the Baptists I've met.
Every Baptist I've met is like, no alcohol.
No, not true.
Wow.
That is a different
Then
podcast.
I'm going to edit that
Completely
part out.
different. Please.
Thanks, Will.
You're going to lose half your.
Oh,
Here we go.
Kel, what's going on over here?
and-
I'm Baptist.
All right, for our listeners, things are out of control here real quick. Michelle just disclosed she's a Baptist.
I
So,
think my face is red now.
yeah.
You can match me now. It's
Oh,
all good.
yeah, look at you two. Look at this, Andy. We have twins over
I
here.
opened it up just to see what would happen.
Yeah,
there.
that's well done. I'm very impressed with that.
Gosh.
Oh, my gosh. And then some other things you have here. What's your estate history tour?
We start up here at the Grand Room. We will go down to the distillery and talk about the distillery. We'll talk about some of the basic history of how Pierre got over here, and then the reason we have a distillery in the winery. And then we'll go down to the winery and do production. We'll walk through production, and then we'll come back up here and do a flight of 3 tastings of wine and a spirit. And it usually takes about an hour and a half.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's perfect. Awesome. And then who created it? Was that your creation?
Oh no!
Okay.
They've been doing
Get
it
back
for a long
over here
time.
to Kelly real quick. Okay.
They've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
But
No, it's great to give people the behind the scenes.
that's just a behind the scenes tour.
My
of what's
favorite
going
part
on.
of what she's doing right now, and when we do the tours, is when she's getting ready to bottle a rosé or a white. She's cold stabilizing, and the tanks are just Frosty the Snowman. It's just
That's the coolest part.
That is
I
cool.
can't get over it. I love it every
Yeah.
time.
I have
Anyway,
actually
so-
pictures of my daughter's, because I have a 4-year-old, and so she's been in the winery since birth, basically. And
Yeah.
the first time we ever cold stabilized anything, I have pictures of her hands on the ice. It's so funny.
Very nice. Very nice. She's learning. Yeah, learning
She is,
about the
yeah.
coolness.
Is that a glycol jacket on those?
It is a glycol jacket that we
Nice.
use. Yes.
Nice.
Very cool. And then a couple other just little things here real quick. You guys have a lot of events here. It looks like weddings, corporate events, private parties. I mean, you guys are just, I think, Kelly, you mentioned earlier, you're trying to expand it even more, bigger parties coming in through here.
I think just getting the corporate in here, and I've seen over the past few years that they really like getting out of their heads, and then they can have an event. Our salt kitchen, which is like a tiered classroom, is perfectly set up for it. Or you can have 40 people. You might have a small group. That's a big group to me, but I think depending on the corporation, they would say it's a small group. And then they're getting out of their heads. They're right here. They can see the vines. They can take a break. Just, you need to get off the campus, off the property to have those new ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I keep hearing things that I'm pretty impressed, like the tiered classroom. And that's, to me, that's so cool and classy. I mean, you guys, someone put a lot of thought into that. And so, and everything from what I'm looking at here and outside in the distillery, I mean, there's some real effort that's gone in here. So the winery and the distillery have been here for quite some time. Kelly, a quick question to you. What changes have you seen in the Texas wine community? I mean, you've been doing this for 25 years professionally.
Exploded.
Well, tell us about that. I'm interested.
We're like the 32nd bonded winery, and now there's, I don't know, you guys know, 500?
Almost
more than 500.
900
permits.
Yeah.
And I know it's a lot of mom and pops, but there's a lot of very advanced winemaking things happen. And it's so exciting to see educational programs, tech, and all this stuff booming. Yeah. And we're kind of up here in our, northeast corner pod. But I'm so proud of the Hill Country. I'm so proud of each area of this state coming into their own.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's well said right there. Because each area has their own little niche, and they have to come into their own ways of doing their wines and stuff. Because, I mean, you can go to the Hill Country, they got their own ways, and you go up to the North Texas, and you go to East Texas, and everybody's got their own ways of doing stuff, and that brings their uniqueness to that area.
Yeah.
Well, you used a word that to me, and it's one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about, because I knew that this winery's been here for a while, but you said it is exploding. Yeah, there are a lot of new things happening, but what are some of the trends? You traveled around the world, and so we always kind of just say, I don't like to compare. Actually, Andy made a good point the other day. You don't really want to compare, state to state, but with some of the things you've seen in like California. Now you've seen some, the tipping points or the critical mass of what's happening there. Yeah. Washington, Oregon, some of the other places, New York, and then some other places making wine. But what is Texas doing now? What's the rally cry? What are you hearing? Do you have your hand on the pulse?
They're defining their own varietals that are special for them. I think we can see what California was in the 70s and the respect that it has now and how it's grown. And we know we're on that trend 30 years later. We're getting the educated people in here. We're working on our own education internally. You were working with varietals that are PD resistant.
Yes,
you've got new stuff in.
Three new ones planted in the vineyard right now that are PD resistant.
I mean,
what did you plant?
Pierce disease.
Oh, the Pierce disease was
PD.
Pierce's disease.
No, what did you plant?
What plant?
Oh, what did we plant? We planted a Cominante Blanc.
Oh.
Passante Noir and Cominante Noir. There's three of them.
Are they Vitis vinifera, or are they something else?
They are a hybrid.
Okay.
So
that's a new thing right now, is the hybrid stuff.
They're from UC Davis. They just came out in, I think, 2019 is when they put these out. So these are brand new. And we're seeing really good results with them. Actually, our Edelvit is actually the Cominante Blanc. So I'm excited about it.
Well, you should be excited about that.
And I think just that experimentation and creativity, I think that's happening all around Texas.
That's so cool.
And back to here we are in East Texas. This is not an AVA, is it?
It is not.
Oh, I did not know that.
We have a wine trail and a lot of different folks, like 20 different wineries on our trail.
And no AVA.
No AVA.
As someone, I presume someone must have it in the pipeline, yes?
I don't know that. We've talked about it, but
I've heard talk, but I haven't heard anything final.
I mean, I could call this the Pontywood AVA.
Well, yeah.
And we'd have to, get the geologists out, get the historians out, and see what is technically different before.
Well, and you would have to taste all the wines from all 20 of you guys to see if, in fact, it's one big one here or one big one, and then two or three little.
We are on the actual Bullard Salt Dome here, and it's a very small 11 square mile area, and it has some effect on our weather patterns. And so we have tried individually just this 11 square mile area to get TTB appellated, and that was not successful. So I'm thinking we can branch out, but that has not been officially.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nothing
Yeah.
official yet.
I didn't realize that y'all did not have an AVA here.
So we're our label just says Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it should be. You're just Texas.
Well,
It's clear. I like that.
But the AVA is going to make
You know,
it
'cause-
more upscale for the consumer.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Then
there's
they'll be able to say,
education
hey,
to
that's
say
where that
what
is
does
instead of-
AVA mean.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a interesting feature.
You know what? You should call it the Kiepersol AVA.
Will, you're
Well,
so
there are
profound
other-
today. You're so
We
great.
do get started on that paperwork. I'll let you get started on that paperwork.
I'll get right on
my
that.
We
gosh.
love the neighboring wineries as well.
Yeah.
May not.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, that kind of leads into my next question, actually, which is what kind of one of my final questions, actually, and that is, I'll start with you, Michelle. So, what do the next few years look like for you? What are some of your goals and dreams and aspirations?
Not get fired.
Oh, that's a great one.
Wow.
I don't think we have words.
I don't think you're I think you got job security here
I think I have job
for
security
at least
but-
tomorrow.
For at least through tomorrow. But no, just kind of build our profile and make sure that I'm putting out what my boss is like.
Well, I think you will. Yeah, it seems like everyone loves you, and they're very impressed. We're impressed with your work so far. So, yeah. So, if I come back in, I'll come back before then. Let's say the next 5 years. Where do you anticipate being in terms of, are you going to be the iconic figure winemaker in the state of Texas?
I
Okay,
hope
is
so.
that one your goal? I mean, seriously, I mean, it seems like you have a good.
It was my goal when I first finished up my certification to be actually a head winemaker in 5 years, and I did do that one.
You nailed that one.
So I nailed that one
Good.
at the 5-year mark. So
Nice.
Right at the 5-year mark.
yeah,
So
at the
please.
5-year mark.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I want to climb and I want to put our name out there, but I also want to not just put my name. I want to put my business name too. I want Kiepersol to be there with me. So,
Beautiful. And that is kind of as we segue just a notch then over to you, Kelly. So you've been here for a few years. What is the vision for you? I'm sure that you've done the big picture. Go ahead, Adam.
I want to, before you answer that question, so with respect to Michelle Kelly, did you purposely seek out a female winemaker when she came here, or did that
That's a good question.
That's a good question. No. The story I was told, this is through Alex.
we just put the thought out in the universe, but we didn't really.
I sent my resume over, and Alex called me the next day, and he's like, "I really wasn't even looking for an assistant, but I want you to come interview anyway and meet Marnell and everyone." So,
and then he moves on,
and then a year and a half later, he gets an opportunity to move on, and so my actual plan was to work with Alex until either one of us decided to move on or stay here and be. We were very happy.
And by the way, Alex also was a very good winemaker too.
Yes, he
He's
was,
a very good winemaker.
So I know I had the assistant title, but even when we introduced each other, we were always, "This is the other winemaker." The other winemaker.
That's very cool.
That's always awesome about that.
So
respect.
We respected each other very well on that, and so when he did move on, I was like, "Okay, am I going to? Do I need to find somewhere else to go?"
Very cool.
And then, but no, they, Alex and Marnell called me in the office, and it's like, "Hey, Alex is," because I'd kind of heard that he was maybe leaving, but I didn't know exactly when. And when he told me it was like a month and a half out, I'm like, 6 weeks. Oh, okay.
Wow.
So I have 6 weeks to learn.
Yeah, because he was at the Pineywood Festival, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he had just told me then.
Wow. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So like he left at the end of October, and so
wow.
Wow.
I was still wrapping my head around everything and
That's awesome,
trying to learn all of it.
That would explain several things that was happening that day.
Yeah, it was just a lot of stuff, and so I just took the bull by the horns and
Good for
ran
you.
with
That's what
it.
you have to.
Would you say that this is pretty much, I know you don't want to get fired, so you probably have to answer this correctly, but would you say this is probably a dream gig for you, a dream job because of
really
the
is.
staff?
It really is.
Everything's good.
This company makes you feel like family.
Yeah.
And I am very family oriented. I come from a huge family.
Okay.
Like it takes, like my immediate family is at least 30 people. So
Wow.
I mean, we are huge. And so for me to feel like that somewhere else to work, it takes a lot. And so they make me feel that way here.
And your daughter's totally comfortable. Everyone loves her and she loves them.
She comes up here
Oh my
and
goodness.
the first thing she thinks she gets when she walks through that door is a cheese board, meat and cheese board, and a quesadilla.
So she's at a quesadilla.
Favorite thing.
I thought you were going to say a glass of wine. And I'm like, hey,
she's
She's the
4 years old.
Orange juice.
Just
put it in a
pretend.
little glass.
In her little glass.
That's awesome.
Well,
She's fun.
Kelly, let's segue then to you. So what's the big picture here?
So I do want to comment additionally on Michelle's thoughts that Marnell Marnell Michelle, our owner, really has that ability to see talent in people and see a kindred spirit. And so Marnell was our original winemaker. Marnell is the reason we're here. So I didn't tell that story.
Oh.
And I want to segue for a second.
Yeah, go ahead and tell that story. It's an amazing story.
So Pierre was here and he was working in the rose industry north of us in Lindale. So Lindale is now Miranda Lambert capital, and it was the rose capital technically, Lindale and Tyler. And so he was a farmer all his life, but was really in the rose industry. And when Marnell was about to graduate from high school, he said, well, I've saved a little bit of money. Do you want to go to TJC, which is our local junior college, or do you want to start a little business? And she said, I want to be a farmer just like you. And he was like, okay. I didn't think that's what you were going to say. And I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly what he said, but he said, go think about that a little bit, because around here, farming is peaches, a very perishable product, and you're, with your pickup truck on the side of the road. So she went to Barnes & Noble, which, because there was no internet at the time. And she came back after a couple of days and said, I want to be a wine farmer.
Wow.
And he said, I can grow anything, anywhere, which he could.
And good. Yeah.
And so he said, but I don't know how to make wine. And so at 18, 19 years old, we sent her to Napa Valley to intern at Trefethen Vineyards, very famous Swedish winemaker, Peter Luthi, and beautiful Chardonnays out there.
Yes,
and so she was there on the phone while we were doing our first harvest, telling us what to do.
That's cool.
Wow.
So since she's been the wine
That is
vision
awesome.
the whole time.
And she still comes down and
so that's her
part of the
joy,
day
is to spend time with Michelle. Yeah.
We were just down there yesterday. It was fun.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That is cool. It's always great to hear stories like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
So I don't know what you asked me, Michael.
Well, that's
I don't think I asked any questions.
With Michelle's.
that's a really
Seems like
that's a good
sometimes.
answer. She did say, she said 5 years, but let me segue first.
Yeah. Segue.
So 5 years.
Our company, one thing that I can say, like, speaks volumes about our company is our company has only had 4 different winemakers. 4.
That's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
So
Wow.
in 25 years that
Wow.
we've been here.
So
They keep
good longevity. Yeah. So you are secure for a couple more years. I
think so.
suspect.
At
Okay,
least
you're
for
good.
2 more weeks.
Things are
least
adding
through
up to me.
harvest.
Through harvest,
Just
yeah.
through harvest, the tough part. Well, then let's go ahead and take 3. Take 3. What is the big picture, Kelly? You have big picture mindset, I can tell. Marketing.
Okay.
So what's going to happen to this beautiful business model in the next 5 or 10 years?
I think for me personally, it's internal and external. I am short-term focused on my WSET 3. I take that in March.
Okay.
Please pray for me.
Yeah.
We do.
So part of that is trying to internalize and do a lot of training inside from our servers. They come young as servers, and we want them to be really integrated in the whole story and the whole winemaking process. And I think we can do that a lot better in the next several years.
Okay.
So your
All right.
experience is seamless when you're here.
Yes.
And external would be just being out there in the industry more, and wine dinners, and having meeting the most amazing people. So, and that's what we're doing here today. So,
Right. Well, and I know people, I come from marketing 26 years. And so I know people pretty well. Have you thought about lobbying or being down in the legislature and doing I don't know what you've done there so far. And she's smiling. Maybe you've done a little bit of that, but you would be a great asset down there to really rally for the wine community. Have you thought about doing some of that at all?
kind of Twigga-wise, or what are you
Beyond
talking
Twigga
here?
even. I'm talking legislatively, getting down there and getting your hands dirty in the trenches, man. Being on the
I don't
battleground.
mind hands dirty.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yes.
You should get hold
I'm
of.
open to ideas that honestly had never
Yeah.
crossed the mind.
You should reach out to Roxanne out at Lost Oak in Burleson.
Okay.
'Cause she rallies a lot
Okay.
for the wine industry and down in
Yeah.
legislative stuff. Yeah.
I don't know, Kelly and
Amazing.
Roxanne together.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, let's just put it this way: Roxanne and I and Michael at a table, 6 bottles of wine.
and
Done.
a podcast somehow.
And a podcast.
Miraculously, yes. Well, good. Well, girls, let's wrap it up here a little bit. So I'm going to start with Michelle, right?
Okay.
Kindred Spirit.
Yes.
Speak from your heart. What's going on? What are you excited about? And what do you want to share with our listeners worldwide?
I am excited about the new vintages that we have, the new varieties that we planted. I am excited about what the future holds for us here. I see us going doing really well, getting hopefully some medals coming in.
Absolutely.
That'd be a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. That looks good on your
That'll
resume.
look really good on my resume, right? And just growing this company, and just being part of the family here. I think that's what we want to do.
Yeah, you might have to comment on something. Again, getting to know people. I can tell that you're excited also about your growth and what you're going to experience. There's something kind of cool happening,
Right.
and I'm reading that right now. But that's probably a pretty cool part too. I mean, you've already grown a lot.
I feel like I feel like I'm growing.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Yeah.
In some places better, in some ways better than others. But I'm always up for knowledge, always up for learning
Beautiful.
stuff. I'm not afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
I still reach out to my mentors.
Good.
Even Sergio, I have him on speed dial sometimes.
Well, what's that quote? That quote is, "Show me your coach or mentor, I'll show you your future." Right? That's a good quote.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
Good.
would love to be as Sergio one
Well,
day. So.
but pay it forward. Can you
Right.
anticipate mentoring and coaching
I would
people in the
love to.
future as well?
I would love to. In a
Point
couple
at will.
years when I have this.
I've already
down.
asked her like 3 times. She told me no.
I did not tell you no. I said I'm not the person to ask.
You didn't say please, Will.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I cannot make that choice.
Well, Michelle, I can tell you're going to be successful. I know you're in a great family here, and just seeing Kelly and her gratefulness and her admiration for you, you're going to do great. But can I just tell you one more thing? Can you accept the fact that you're never going to stop blushing your whole life?
I've
you know
blushed
that,
since
right?
the time I was
You know
little,
that,
so
okay.
this is normal.
Well, it's just how you're wired,
Normal
sister.
for
It's how
me.
you're wired.
Yeah.
Good.
My skin is pasty white.
I
and
love it.
I
Yep.
blush.
Yep.
So,
I love it. And then Kelly, speak from your heart real quick. Anything you want to share with listeners across the great state of Texas and beyond?
There's something different here. There's a soul here. There's a reason to come here. It's casual and upscale and fun and absolutely loving. Every person you run into is salt of the earth.
That's beautiful. Wow. Well done. Write that in a book. That's pretty good stuff right there. That was good. Yeah. Andy, that was pretty fun. That was pretty good stuff, right? Well, we're grateful for you girls and for your entire staff. Thanks for welcoming us in here. And again, this is episode 48, Will, which is incredible.
I know. It's crazy.
I know. We know Texas Vino. Let's just real quick hit our sponsors and we'll get on to phase 2 of our podcast today. How's that sound?
Yes. And that would, Kelly, you don't have to be around for the phase 2.
Okay.
Well, we
Yeah,
want her
if you
around.
want- I mean, you can. if
She's
you
got to go
want.
study.
Yeah.
I do have to
So-
study.
So our partnerships are awesome. Let's go through them real quickly. Our Texas Wine Club down in Fredericksburg. We love those guys, right? They're amazing. They're the Amazon.com of Texas wines. Reach out to them online and build that relationship. Get some wines.
Yes.
It's fun stuff. In addition to that, we have Texas Wine Lover. You guys know about them, I hope.
Yeah.
That's amazing. The
I mean,
Godfather and Wonder Woman.
They actually have an ambassador who works here for
That's
them.
right. We're going to talk to them here in a minute. That gentleman here in a minute. That's going to be so much fun. Flywithwine.com, our newest sponsor, solving wine shipping problems and dilemmas. And then what I'm super proud of is the wino guy who we dragged with us today.
Yes.
Andy Gonzalez, wine enthusiast, guided wine events, blind tastings, deductive tasting guidelines, and much more. Andy, thanks for being here, buddy.
Pleasure.
Yeah, you are awesome. I can't wait to get to learn more and just dive into your brain and how you're wired. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
So we're going to have a good time. And the blessing for all 5 of us is we do what we love. It's a lot of fun traveling around for you guys. And we get to drink wine.
Completely.
Yahoo. So this is it for segment number 1. We appreciate it, Will. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yep.
We know Texas Vino. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, this is Jeff Cole from TexasWineLover.com. We're here with Will, Michael, and Jen from We Know Texas Vino.
And this is Amy Nemec with the Texas Wine Lover mobile app. We're wrapping up the interview and moving into the wine education portion of the episode, so stick with us.
Welcome back, everyone. Will, Andy, good to have you back here for the educational portion. I know we're going to have some fun with that.
We are.
This is episode 48. I cannot believe that, Will. Can you? I mean, it was a year ago, plus some change that we started kind of getting crazy about this.
Yeah,
so here we are,
crazy.
just having fun. Worldwide, international, or global, as you like to say, right?
Yes, global. Global sounds better.
Yep.
More domination.
So we have 2 awesome ladies here today. We, of course, have Michelle, the winemaker, and we have Kelly, who is the, I just keep calling her ops manager, but she's like everything, the Heinz 57 of management. And so, Andy, I know you're going to talk to her real quick about a few things that she's doing professionally as well.
Well, the question was, we understand that she does a podcast of her own that has to do with, but with not necessarily about wine necessarily. But I'm going to let her tell us exactly what that is.
Let's hear about it.
Thank you, Andy. I have got a podcast called Drink a Little. And so obviously I've been in the wine industry for 25 years, so I have drank a little. But as we get older and think about more mindful things, I was looking for a balanced life. And so during the downtime of COVID, I got a little more education and became a life coach. And so much thought work goes into every day around here, but you can't basically figure out your own brain with your own brain. That's the tool that you started any problem with. And so it's probably not the tool to fix it with. So we all kind of need someone else to bounce things off of, and it's either a therapist or a coach. And so I have combined the worlds of wine and coaching into this podcast where you can drink a little at the top of the podcast, a little bit of wine from somewhere around the world, all kinds of brands, all varietals, and something about that wine, the character of it, the name of it, something fun about it will lead us into a coaching conversation on how to lead an amazing, balanced life. A lot of it is to balance out alcohol, and so that may seem counterintuitive, but it is what works for myself and helped a lot of clients through some things with that. So drink a little.
That's pretty awesome. I mean,
it is.
It's something that is unique and is different. And, and I've never thought about, drinking wine and think about, this grape here, that did X, Y, and Z. And you're like, okay, well, because that grape does X, Y, and Z, why can't you do that in your life? And I'm like,
Did I tell you my quote's going to blow his mind? It's going to be awesome. So I think it's awesome because I've always argued my whole life, and I was a college boy and doing all those sort of things, but I thought being the social drinker, I always call it, just being more low key and being able to communicate and not be that crazy kid in the corner throwing up or whatever. And so I just was always,
pointing at me.
No, I'm not pointing at you. I'm a very physical speaker. Sorry about that, Andy. And so I was always called it the social drinker, but just being the one who could be funny or who can be a conversationalist or who can uplift and add value. Those things to me are way more important than, and so I think it complements what you're doing. And I think your description complements what we're doing actually, because we're not about going out and buying 7 bottles of wine and knocking them out in one night. We're talking about experiencing what Michelle has created. And those are really cool things. So I think that complements what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of an education aspect to it because I run into all types of people, and I ran into a woman several years ago, and she said, I never thought of stopping a little bit to swirl it and taste it. I just chugged it. And I was like, well, there you go. I mean, there's all kinds, but if you do stop and appreciate it more, you'll know why we have so many different varieties, why the winemaker has so much influence on what's coming out of the vineyard. Right. And it's beautiful to look at that and then apply that mindfulness to your life. So.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Great
I like
word.
that. Yeah, it is a great word. And to me, it just makes sense too, because of all the alcohols out there in this world, can we all agree here at the table that wine is a unique one because it really does bring people together. But I think it makes people think. And Andy, you're such a thinker. I mean, you're just amazing. But wouldn't you agree that that's kind of the beauty of drinking a glass of wine? Not 8 glasses of wine,
that
but 8
is
glasses of
just
wine.
the tip of the iceberg when you really think about it, because wine, unlike milk, you take a cow, go done, you got milk. Orange juice, you squeeze it, you got orange juice. Wine, it takes one thing, and it's a 4-letter word, LOVE, or else it does not exist.
Yeah.
True.
okay, I need to ask a question. How does that milk in that cow go again?
Yeah, I want to know why you use the same hand things for the orange and for the cow. That poor cow. Oh my gosh, we are going to have to do some rehab on that cow. Okay, well, very good.
You know what? We can put it to Kelly's podcast.
That's very good. I also love Andy's sound effects. Though you could be our sound guy. That's
what I was wanting for the sound effects.
I was trying not to.
Hey, Andy's blushing.
It's more of a visual. I think I'm just hot.
Yeah, it's hot. It's hot.
I've got a flannel on.
Well, awesome. Well, let's kind of wrap it up here. So how can we reach you guys? I know there's a social platform. I think probably you're in charge of that. So can you tell our listeners how to get a hold of you folks, not only from a social point of view, but physically? How do you get here?
Yeah, and remember, the GPS doesn't tell the truth.
So, it's just Kiepersol.com.
How do you spell it?
It's KIEPERSOL.com. And we are south of Tyler, Texas. Just take I-20 and a little loop around Tyler, and we are on 69 South.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, we're hoping this reaches a lot of people and that you get a lot of fun people who show up and, hey, we heard about you on a podcast. We'd love to meet Michelle and Kelly and the rest of the crazy kids around here. So, yeah, well, that's
I love
awesome.
those calls.
Yeah. Well, girls, we're grateful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
and thank
very
you to the whole organization for being here. So, real quick, Will, take away from today. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, real quick, Kelly, how can people find your podcast?
It is Drink a Little podcast, and it is on all the platforms. It's on the Apple, the Spotify, all the places we find You.
I will be
Nice.
listening.
Good answer.
I will be listening to the one.
Find me, huh?
Find you personally. Yes. Yeah.
So takeaway, Will.
Takeaway is,
Or was that it?
No. The takeaway is, if you have a little dream, or as Scripture says, if you have a faith of a mustard seed, you can make something move.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the family did that here, didn't they? That's
Yes.
big time. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Andy, we're so grateful to have you here as well. I know you have a busy schedule, but maybe a takeaway from you.
I think one of the fascinating things for me is the fact that this vineyard lives on a salt dome. And I'm going to do my own research after this to find out a little bit more about that. But it's negative charged ions, so it affects weather. It could affect weather, and it apparently has.
It does affect
And I'm curious how it affects the terroir here as well. So that's my biggest takeaway, I think.
That's exciting. That
It's
is.
fascinating to just being the geek that I am to delve a little further.
And that is definitely the geek you are. So I don't even know him that well. I'm calling him a geek. That's awesome. And my takeaway, actually, I'm going to compliment Michelle real quick. I just think I'm really proud of you for, number one, finding something that you're really passionate about and a dream and a goal and just chasing it and going for it. Too many people in this, I come from sports marketing, too many people have the dream, but they don't have the heart and soul. They don't have the work habit. They don't understand that there's a price to pay to do anything well. And I think in winemaking in itself, you got to have a passion and a love. We use that word, love. So I'm really proud of you, and I'm so excited to see what you get to experience the next few years with the great support from your staff members here as well, and then Kelly too. Just obviously, we get you down to the legislature and do some damage down there.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm extremely impressed with you as well. So very good. Well, a couple quotes to wrap it up here, boys, and the first one's going to blow.
So-
I do quotes to wrap up the podcast, and most of them were
Some
pretty
of them
funny.
are so deep that I had to think about it.
Well, the first
Takes me
one's deep.
3 days, and then I listen to the episode again, and I'm like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah, they're actually both kind of deep. I need to start getting back into like David Barry and that sort of stuff. I don't know if he does wine or not. The first one is from Homer. We all know the great philosopher, and so it says, "Wine can of their wits the wise beguile." Don't worry about it.
Start over.
Wine.
Repeat that again, because that's
Wine-
Homer Simpson.
That's good.
Okay.
Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad, actually. Homer Simpson. I might have to do some research there.
Yeah. Homer,
Yeah, the philosopher, yeah.
the Odyssey.
Yes.
Odyssey. Wine can of their wits the wise beguile, makes the sage frolic and the serious smile.
Absolutely.
You like that? That's true, right?
Yeah.
Will, I love that you girls said absolutely to get it.
Can we get
And
it?
you're right now, he's like, what's a beguile?
Can we get an English translation of that?
And my last but not least, wine rejoices the heart of man, and the joy is the mother of all virtues.
Amen.
Okay, so this is We Know Texas Vino. This is Michael.
This will.
Wino guy.
Wino guy. Cheers.
Cheers.